Hey there, welcome to this edition of Valley Black Talk Radio, live on the On Me Network, as we always are. Today is February 11, 2018. So many things to talk about, and we will be having a special topic today, talking about the increase in shootings in Southwest Fresno.
Yeah, horrific information
Horrific.
they're sharing.
Horrific.
With the media and with the community folks. Man, I've been watching this. Disheartening, disappointing. So I'm
We've got to discuss that. My name is Julie Dudley Najee, Mel Sanders. We're hoping Jewel will be able to show up because I know she has still that injury, and it's hard when you just got one leg.
yeah.
It's hard.
I thought she'd be here.
Right. But that's okay. We'll quickly go through all the upcoming events. We do have some folks that will be calling in, so we want to make sure we are prepared for that. You'll see the number to call in on your screen, 559-365-6233. Again, look at the screen, 559-365-6233, and we will have those phone lines open. We do have a few guests that will be calling in to give us an update, but we really also got to talk about the solutions, and I know we've touched on it, what they're doing in other cities. But first we need to grieve and get through the process. But before we do that, I want to make sure we get through some of the upcoming events. This is Black History Month, and I hope that you have been honoring it by going to some of the events to celebrate and learn about your history. And this is the calendar from Fresno City College. They have let's see, I guess there's a HBCU Caravan Recruitment. I think we've been having that on our screen. I don't know if we took that off the screen, but under our upcoming events, I think we have that on the On Me Network. You'll be able to see that the HBCU Caravan Recruitment College Expo that's going to be in the cafeteria from 11 to 2, and again, this is at the Fresno City College campus. The importance of this particular event is that they are admitting people on the spot. So if you are one of those students that wants to go to a black college, or you know someone that needs that experience and should try that, then so be it. We need to make sure they sign up and go to this expo. Again, this college expo, the HBCU Caravan Recruitment, is going to be Wednesday, February 14th. Wednesday, February 14th, and that's from 11 to 2 in the cafeteria at Fresno City College. That's
And they were in Southern California this past weekend too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, they were.
Big
So they're going from
turnout
place to
down
place to
there.
place.
Yeah,
We're trying to
I
get
like that.
people.
I like that. Yeah,
So,
that's excellent.
it's only excellent if we get our kids there.
Yeah, but they need to come prepared. What I
Yeah.
heard back from yesterday's visit was some of our kids didn't have all of the things that they needed to be instantly accepted into one of those.
Now, how is that? Because we have counselors for that reason to prepare them.
Well, in South Valley, we don't have too many counselors that are concerned about our kids.
Okay,
Hence the importance of what we're going to be talking about at some later date about elections of school board members.
Okay,
Because
we got to talk about
yeah.
that because that doesn't make sense to me. We need to have our kids prepared. We also happening, again, this is at Fresno City College. I'm looking at the Black History Month calendar that was given to me, and you guys can always give us stuff by going to On Me News. The Body Temple, A Better Way of Living presentation. Miss Rhonda Kelly will reveal the tips and tricks for improved body health. This is going to be on February 15th, and this will be in the OAB, that's Old Administration Building 251. That's on Thursday. And so those are the upcoming events that we know from that. You see that I think we read that the last time, right? The Body Temple. Yeah. And also coming up, this is in Hanford, right? I want to make sure I'm reading this correct. I wish you guys would send the flyer so that we can put these type of things on the screen. Because they can't see it from here, right? You can't see it, right? And this is the Black History Celebration and Awards Dinner.
Oh, yeah, on the 24th.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said Hanford, and you were like, dude, you're in a different zone.
Yeah. Because I plan to be there. That should be
You should be there.
Yeah.
And this will be February 24th. And this will be from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It says doors open at 5:30, dinner is at 6:30. This is in the Hanford Civic Auditorium, 400 North Dowdy Street in Hanford, California.
Right across from the Superior Dairy. You know where you go down and get that good ice cream?
Everybody loves
drives
that
all
ice
over
cream.
the valley to go to it?
Everybody loves that place.
Right across the street.
Everybody
Can't
loves
miss
that
it. Yeah,
place.
yeah, it's going to be a real nice event.
$30 per person and only $210 per table of 8. And no tickets will be at the door. Smart move. We should have done that with the Trailblazers. No tickets at the door. Keynote speaker will be Mr. Jerome Avery. You want to talk about Mr. Jerome Avery?
I don't know him.
Great.
No, isn't he one of the translators for blind folks who are involved in with athletics?
Well, it says here, world famous track and field guide runner.
Yeah.
Former Lemoore track star.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a
works
guide
with
runner.
with folks who are handicapped.
That's awesome. So for tickets, you can call Carolyn Hutchins at 559-583-6139. That number again is 559-583-6139. Also, if you can show upcoming events on the ONME calendar, and again, if you just send us your flyers, we can put them on the
Jewel will be
screen.
shortly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yay, Jules on her way.
So this is the artist.
The artist Donna Nolan will be at the African American Museum this upcoming Saturday, February 17th, from 12 to 3. And Donna was born in Fresno, and she is a crafts artist. Very interesting artwork here at the African American Museum, located at 1857 Fulton Street. She does this cool digital stitchery, photos into stitchery. Also, this weekend will be there's a Trailblazer reception for the Trailblazers because we're doing the unveiling of the plaque. Because you know how they get their pictures in the plaque within the museum. So we'll be also showing that. And what's that next event? I should have put it on the screen, duh. I can just put it on my own screen, right? Is it still on the Donna Nolan? Okay, so she also does needle punch, gift baskets, blankets, but it's really unique how she does her artistry. We hope that you come check out Donna P.
Is
Nolan.
the one she did on Malachi?
Yes, you
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
see that.
yeah, that's the one she the one did that? Oh.
She's the one who did that. That's what made that amazing.
Well, if she can do that, she can do miracles.
She can.
Have y'all ever seen Malachi?
Ooh, and it's
I know he
funny.
ain't listening.
Yeah, but he'll go back and watch, just so you know.
Okay, I'll take that back.
No, it's too late to take that back. Too late to take that back. I think the next event is up.
Yeah.
And this is talking about okay, so we have our Juneteenth Blues and Jazz Festival, and that's put on by the ONME Network. And we are partnering with other organizations, groups. Good Citizens is involved. They're one of our partners. Also, the Downtown Partnership, they're helping us as well. And we have Blended TV. Of course, we have the ONME TV. And I think we have a few other partners that we'll be adding on. But what's not important is about the partners, is about the fact that it's a fundraiser. And this is a fundraiser that not only helps the network, but we're also helping Black businesses that are vendors because folks are coming downtown. We're able to educate everybody in this Juneteenth event and also enjoy and have a good time and listen to some good music. June is also Jazz Month. I don't think people knew that. It's
I
the
didn't know that.
yeah, it's a
Thank you for
celebration of
educating
jazz.
me. Yeah.
Celebration
Now
of
I'll share
jazz.
the news with others.
Yeah, really, it really is. And that's why even they have a Juneteenth Jazz Festival in other locations throughout the nation, because they wanted that also be the time that we recognize some of our famous jazz musicians who, of course, were African-American. As far as we're talking about the mother and father, the godfather of jazz, where all the soul came from. And we hope that you will join us. Again, this will be downtown, and it'll be from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. in the evening. So after you've enjoyed your festivities, other Juneteenth events earlier that day, come join us and sit and have a good time. You can have some beer or wine, definitely, I'd say an adult affair, some good food. We'll have some cultural cuisines from throughout the valley. And I know some of you like from Southern to Caribbean cooking to Ethiopian cooking. That's an important thing is that we're
What cookie?
Ethiopian.
Oh, Ethiopian.
Ethiopian.
I thought you said yoki.
No, Ethiopian.
Okay.
So we're trying to have diverse cuisines that represent all the different cultures.
Okay.
And hopefully somebody will cook like the jerk chicken, the real Jamaican flavors. And those are the type of things that we're looking for. Vendors are welcome. You have until March 5th. And I know we have a meeting February 23rd, a Juneteenth meeting to discuss those options. So those are upcoming events that we just wanted to talk to you about.
There's a vending opportunity.
Yeah, and it is a vending opportunity. March 5th, again, is that deadline. And you can come to our meeting February 23rd. And again, if you email us, we can give you more information about where that meeting is. And we can at least, if you don't want to do it online, we can be able to show you the intricate details of how to do that offline. And those are the upcoming events that we know of. If you know of
My
upcoming.
email is what?
The email is vendor@myonme.com. If you,
Vendor at
vendor@myonme.com, and you'll see that on the screen, vendor@myonme.com.
Okay.
Any other local news that we need to talk about before we get into our deep discussion? Because there's a lot of, I mean, we've got.
People are leaving here. And
Leaving?
some by, not by choice, yeah.
Okay,
I'm talking,
okay.
you know, and I guess we're gonna get into that.
We're going to get into that. I was talking about anything else besides that.
Because there's a lot of folks outside of that who are leaving too. I don't know, beyond what we're gonna talk about, but.
Okay.
Folks that have been here for a while and that, you know.
They're just tired of being here?
Yeah, it just seems like they're, hey, and they're not all old. It'd be
Hmm.
different if they were like, 80, 90 years of age. You would
course.
think, okay, but I'm talking about people in their 40s.
What are they saying as to why they're leaving?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of a number of people who in their 40s that didn't leave by foul play.
Right.
And so that just tells me, man, something's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. We want to be talking. Anything in Hanford that we need to discuss before we get into
You
it?
just mentioned the event.
Right?
They're going to have Women with Visions Unlimited is having something early March, so I'm sure they'll get you something on that. But that seems to be filling up too. Excuse me, that's not a charge for that, but it's an event that deals with the African American women it focuses on, and they're having a great response for that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to see if we can't piggyback on that and make sure we get some real good candidate inquiries for these upcoming elections, that all of these folks in South Valley are so active and excited, so we can turn some of that excitement into some elections.
Yeah, we've got to talk about some South Valley elections that are coming up, and I can't wait to get more on that. And I know we also have the elections here happening in Central Valley as far as Fresno that are upcoming. District 3 is pretty much becoming a commodity. People are still jumping in the race, and I know as tomorrow, I think we'll know about more people jumping in the
Oh, of
race.
course, yeah, it's an open seat.
Yeah, it's
when
open
you have
seat.
someone that's termed out, there's always going to be a bunch of people. Some people who never thought about running before, all of a sudden
running.
say, "Hey, I can do that."
Exactly. And so I know that Valley Black Talk Radio will be having that forum to be able to discuss that as far as the local District 3 candidates. And like you said, it's open seats, so it's open for all, and it is what it
There's
is.
going to be a whole bunch of people running.
And I think on Valley Black Talk Radio, we always talk about what to look for in a candidate, so that you all know, meaning the viewers, what to look for, because not necessarily can we go by skin tone. That would be nice, if that were the case and it worked all the time, but sometimes what's in our best interest is going to be for the folks that have our best interest.
Yeah.
And I think that is the way the collective African-American community is now moving towards that direction. Some people aren't looking at Republican or Democrat anymore. They're looking at who is going to be the best fit for the purpose of the community. And we'll be going over those. And again, we'll be having I think we said, when did we say we're having it, in March? As far as the forum, because that way we'll know. So that first week in March, we'll be having
Yeah,
it
we'll know
online.
when all candidates are filed, and so we'll know who's serious and who was just blowing smoke.
When is the final
It's in March.
March that they have to file, right? That's what I thought. So technically, some people are starting now, and they can start spending their election dollars as starting tomorrow. People that have already are already starting that whole process. So we'll be keeping everybody up to.
I mean, yeah,
Sorry, we can
that's
never get
life.
around that. That is life.
And it's nothing personal.
It isn't
At this
anything
stage,
personal.
for a lot of us on this side of the camera, it's not personal. It's about observations over the years of effectiveness, and what do you need to look for as a citizen in terms of having effective leadership.
Well, in that case, it should be personal. We have to start taking it
But I'm
personal.
talking about when things are said and it may not be in a particular candidate's best interest. It's not personal towards them. It's personal towards us if we care about our community, but not about that individual. That individual, I mean, hey, if it doesn't fit, then maybe next time it'll fit for you. But right now, this is what we're looking for, and this is what we believe we need to share with the people to see what they need to be looking for when we talk about looking for a candidate to represent us.
Right.
So don't get angry. Just, hey.
And so even the school board, I know I'm hearing about, I just heard of a potential candidate this weekend. I won't reveal that just yet. And I said, okay, this person's known in the community and the family's known in the community. And this person probably does have the know-how on how a school board is run. The question will be, is that individual the best candidate for the community? Community. So those are things where I guess we're going to have to be discussing.
That, and also the bigger picture of how it fits in the overall scheme of the area's total election process.
Okay.
That is a piece of it. That particular school board seat and other particular school board seats are pieces of it. But how do they fit in the bigger picture of the 937?
Tax season is finally here, and you can't wait for those W-2s to come in. As soon as they do, well, the place to go is MKG Tax Consultants, locally owned here in Fresno. So what's so special about MKG? Well, you can use your last paycheck stub to pre-qualify for a tax advance. MKG makes it easy to file your taxes. You can even do it in person or by calling 866-675-3933 or with their free mobile tax app. You can file anywhere and get your max tax refund, free Uber rides. MKG will also loan you up to $2,510. All you have to do is qualify. No one else, including the big chains and other local shops, can do that. It's just the MKG Tax Time Loan Matching Program with a 90% approval rate. So if you want your tax refund now and don't want to wait until the end of February to check out MKG Tax Consultants today, call 866-675-3933, 866-675-3933, or visit us online at mkgtax.com.
To get your tax return ASAP, you're going to want to call MKG 460-7504, 460-7504. MKG Tax Consultants are your local tax experts and offers the fastest tax refunds in Fresno. Get your taxes filed right now in person, over the phone, email, or text message. MKG even offers pickup and delivery service at no cost to you. Just call MKG at 460-7504, 460-7504. Need fast cash? Ever been denied on a loan? MKG offers a $750 easy advance loan and $750 pre-funded loans at no charge to you. 80% approval rate in 24 to 48 hours. MKG also hook up everyone who files with them or refers a friend with $50 cash or with a $25, $50, or $100 faster money prepaid Visa reward card with a valid W-2. You want your money back ASAP? Then hit up MKG 460-7504, 460-7504.
California loans are made pursuant to MKG Money Service Business. California Department of Business Oversight Finance Lenders License 60DBO 45224.
I love the Black Infant Health Program. I love it so much mental help, and even like regular information on like little things, like for example, like nutrition, and like they help me a lot when it stress relief was a big thing, because I was like, how do I relieve stress? Like going to the classes and looking forward to the classes each week, it really excited me about having a baby, and like it really gave me this like a type of ground to let me know that like you've got this and you're okay, and you have people in your circle, because I'm not from Fresno and I came out here for school, and it was just like having another family and people that are here and advocating for you when you don't have your family that you normally would have advocating with you at the moment. It was people from all walks of life. There was one other girl who was in school, well, going back to school. One, she was on her like fourth child, which, you know, like it was different levels, and it was kind of good because some had experiences and that some didn't, and it was just like, it was a really good mixture. And then we talked about all our different experiences, and as our bellies grew, we all had like different experiences, and like, oh, I stopped throwing up, and like, you know, like, oh, my boobs are getting bigger. Like, it was really cool. Like, it was like, oh, it's like mom talk, you know, and you have your mom talk, and it's like, and you don't have to put your mom talk together because there's already a program that you're there. Through WIC, like one of the girls was like, "Oh, Deb, you heard about the Black Infant Health Program? You should try it." And I was like, "Okay, like I guess." And then like I Googled it and I was like telling my mom, I was like, "Oh, I should do this, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, do it. You know, we're not there and you need all the help you could get." And I was like, "Okay." So I just came in, and group is so fun, like talking to everyone, other pregnant people. It's like, oh, there's other pregos around here.
Pregos?
Pregos, pregnant women.
And welcome to Valley Block Talk Radio. Today is February 11th, 2018. We are going to get into a deep topic, and I know my co-hosts are going to be walking through the door, but we're going to continue to talk about what is happening in Southwest Fresno. And one of the most recent concerns and issues is the increase, of course, in the shootings, and of course, it is amongst our own. So somehow we got to gravitate from just talking about something and go into the solution mode. But we will have a number of callers that will be discussing this tonight. And I got to see who the first caller is. Caller, welcome to Valley Block Talk Radio, and thank you for calling in.
Good night. How are you guys doing?
Hi, how are you? Is this Aaron? Or who's
This
it?
is.
Hi, Aaron. How are you doing? And folks that are just tuning in, and if you can, we've just got through, or we just introed about what is happening in Southwest Fresno. And we were hoping that you can give us a more introspective view of what is happening and what needs to be done, or where are we? How far are we from getting solutions, and what can we do about the problem? What do we as a community need to do actively, whether we live in Southwest Fresno or not, to be able to get to the next step of change?
But I think being present is the biggest part, because a lot of the times we have a big decrease from May until January. We had a huge decrease in gang violence, like 44%. It ended up being 29% for the year. But it was because we were present and we were giving young men hope. So me, I'm a former gang member as well, so I don't really believe in that sending our young men to prison because of their actions that aren't so heinous is big. You know, I had a second chance myself, and I believe that young men deserve the same opportunities that I have now. It took me a long time to get here, but I'm here. So being present is the biggest part, not just showing up and being reactive, just being proactive. Giving our young men hope is the thing that we don't do consistently. You know, when a tragedy happens, a lot of people show up, but 2 weeks later, it's business as usual. So I think that's the first step.
So when you say being present, Aaron, when you say being present, how, and you being a former gang member, as you say, does that mean, how can we as a community be present? What does that mean for us? Tell us what that means to be present. Do we need to be marching in the community? Do we need to be going, what do we need to do to be present?
Exactly. When I say present, it's be there. Instead of programs, we have like clergy and we have community leaders. Tom Perry, for instance, he set the best example of being present. He showed up every day, and he was somebody that they can go to for questions. You know, he started young, but then he didn't quit. Once they got out of football, people still went to Tom Perry for advice. So just being available is what I mean when I say be present. You know, you have to just show up, not just when things happen, but always. You know, we have a lot of opportunities coming up right now as far as employment and those things to give young men hope. But in the meantime, no one's there.
So those of you who've just joined us at Valley Black Talk Radio, we are talking about the increase of violence and also the retaliation amongst gangs of our own kind, African American, and the shootings that have increased in Southwest Fresno. I'm currently talking with Aaron Foster, who's giving us some more insight on what we can do, and part of that he was discussing is being present and being available. And not just when it happens, but all the time, all year round. So, Aaron, back to as far as other opportunities where people can be present and be available, what are some of those opportunities?
Your phone was breaking up on me.
Oh, okay.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sorry about that. Was going to ask you, what are some of those opportunities to be present?
Well, what I believe is like not just dealing with high school children, but every neighborhood has an area where there's unattractive activity.
Okay.
So we should go to those people, meet the people that are closest to committing crimes, and develop a relationship with them.
Okay.
I mean, just going up to them and speaking to them and tell them we care, give them a different direction, a different perspective. A lot of people are afraid to approach these young men, and that's what they want more than anything, just somebody that cares.
So when you say that,
show that they care.
right. And so when you say people are afraid to approach these young men, is it because they feel that they might have a firearm, or is it you feel that they can't connect, or is it both? Is it both of those issues?
It's a combination of the two. And realistically, these young men may have firearms, but it's rare. I don't think no one is brazen enough to just pull out a firearm and shoot you for approaching them with something positive. Because that's the things of old. Before my time, the time my parents were growing up, you couldn't just do things without the community coming and trying to correct you because they weren't afraid of you. Now people just run amok. They see things happening and they turn a blind eye to it because they develop fear. Some of it is earned, and some of it is just unnecessary fear because you don't want to have a connection to that problem. And the problem doesn't belong to the people committing the crime. The problem belongs with the people that have to live with the crimes that are being committed. So if you're a part of that equation, it seems like you would want to do something instead of saying how bad it is. We know that it's bad. That's not going to change the problem. Acknowledging, we have to figure out something. And I know that everyone has something that they can do. And whatever that something is, just try it. It may work, it may not, but at least you made an attempt.
So, Brother Foster, Mel Sanders here, sir. Let me ask you this.
How you doing, Mel?
Yeah, all right. Listen, an increase in policing, is that an asset or a liability to what is happening and what's probably going to be happening more so in the summer when it heats up?
Well, it's good and it's bad. It's good to have police presence, but it should be consistent. You don't have to have 75 officers. You have to have consistency in the high crime areas. And that don't mean criminalize the entire neighborhood or even criminalize the people that live there. Just the police presence will decrease a lot of this violence. But what happens is, like now, when we have all of these police, they pull over and everything moving.
Right.
When my daughter got killed, everything moving in Southwest Fresno got pulled over. That doesn't work because it lasts for 2 weeks, and then you go. The police are gone. They pulled over people my age, older than me, young women, and everybody got treated the same way. Pulled out of the car, searched the vehicles, run warrant checks, and it didn't solve anything. We just had 75 police. The news broadcast that the media let us know it would be a high increase of police officer. A young man got shot in the head the next day. So people aren't afraid of the police at all.
The next day, say that again. They said it one day, and the following day, even with the increase in police.
Antonio Perry got killed one night. Another man got shot the same night in the head. The next day, a young man was it yesterday? A young man got shot in the head.
Yeah, in front of the church.
Police around.
Wow,
front of the church.
man.
Broad daylight.
Wow. Well, let me ask you.
In the day before 1 o'clock, a young man was shot in the head.
Okay, the other question, man, that's terrible. But the other question I want to ask you said, is there any sense of how many of these young people don't have high school diplomas that are involved?
Majority of them. The majority, I would say 70% of the people that are committing these crimes,
That's a high number.
being easy with the numbers, probably higher than that, don't have high school diplomas. And the reason that number is so high because it's only 1% of the criminals are the ones that commit these crimes, and that's just a stat that the a year and a half. So if you can't fix 1% of the criminals, something is wrong with the system.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah.
And so as small as 1% in Fresno are the people that are doing the shootings.
Jill, you had a question? Okay. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say I applaud you in the efforts that you're making in terms of making a dent in what's going on in our community, not just Southwest Fresno, but all over Fresno, because it's not just isolated to one area. It spreads. It's kind of like dropping a match on some dry grass, and it goes everywhere. It doesn't just go right in one part of the town.
And that's the thing. I agree that Southwest Fresno is where the fire started. So if you can contain it, it'd be great. But we have to start there.
Right.
It takes more than just showing up right now when we having a crisis. This thing has been spewing for a while. Yeah. I remember saying these young men are getting restless. Because once we provided the jobs, we had a decrease. But that program came and left.
Right.
Yes.
That's what
now what are the young men doing? We don't have hope. Without hope, you have nothing to live for.
Yeah.
Right. So Aaron,
just a little bit of hope will go a long way.
And so, Aaron, you're saying we need something more consistent, which will take a community effort, meaning, like you said, individually, we all need to step up and step in and not wait for someone else to do it. Because I think we get a little bit comfortable. We figure, okay, well, I don't live in Southwest Fresno, so somebody else is going to take care of that. So I don't really, somehow it'll be taken care of. And then when it spreads into their neighborhood, then it's like, oh, we got to do something. We got to step up and do something about this. You know, I mean, am I right?
That's true. Because here's an example. 2 young men got killed in Woodward Park area. They solved that murder within 24 hours. And they didn't criminalize that area. They didn't have a high concentration of police officers pulling over everything that moved.
Wow.
They put some real energy into solving that murder.
Right. So it sounds like me.
I didn't hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's to tell the 2 cities that's obvious. We know that problem. I'm saying, what do we do to make Southwest Fresno more human? Because a human got killed on the other side of town, and it was a tragedy. Several humans get killed over here, and it's just business as usual. Same tactics. We have to try something else.
Because that's not working. It's just not working. And when you're talking to the young people, when I say the folks that the retaliation, are they listening to you? I mean, does it matter? Because we're still seeing the retaliations that are going forward. What's going to help to change that?
Well, in a sense, yes. We have one group of people that say, okay, we understand, and everything works, and then a person who gets released from prison that hasn't been a part of the program comes home and start a war. So then we have to work again to get back to where we were. And it's something that I don't have a problem with doing, because if we don't do it, then what's the next move?
So when you bring
we have to do something.
So Aaron, when you bring this to the attention of the authorities, the police chief and others who claim they want to solve the problem, what kind of response do you get from them? Because you're saying some stuff that I know you said before. This is not new. So why is it that it's not sustainable by them in terms of you dropping it in their ear?
Well, I can't say that they don't listen. They do, and they do merge, because they have a culture that they live by, and we have our culture, and we're working together to find a bridge where we meet in the middle. So they're doing some things different, like with this high concentration of police officers. They said that they would check cars for weapons, but they wouldn't go and do vigorous warrant checks and things like that. So I was like, okay, if we can start there, I'll ask for something else the next time we have a meeting. So it's just that we have to go. They have book sense, and you can't teach experience out of a book. So once they put themselves in our shoes and start thinking about, like, this could be their children, or this is their mother that they pulling out of the car, if we can get them to think along those lines, we'll have a better relationship with the police officers, and they will start putting more energy into solving these murders.
Well, from this, I applaud you in your efforts, and from this, I would hope at some point we would talk about police officers living in the areas where they serve. Because I think you get a whole different response from people who are your neighbors and your brothers and your coaches of your teams and those kind of things when they are connected to you. There's a real connection.
Well, I think that it takes that, and it takes us to not teach our children to be so afraid that they don't even stand up to police officers and they just accept stuff. Because I remember when I was little, my mom used to say, "You keep being bad, I'm going to have this police officer take you to jail." And that made me afraid of police till I got old enough to understand. It takes both cultures changing. Right. So if we did have police officers, they wouldn't be from the neighborhood anyway because we shun that. You know, when a young man wants to be a police officer, everybody treats him a different way according to how we were raised. Our culture doesn't encourage officers. It's rare that happens. So we have to start with us as far as making that merger with them as well. It's something that they can't do without us.
Exactly.
Okay, so Aaron, if folks that just tuned in, you're watching Valley Block Talk Radio, and our call-in guest tonight is Aaron Foster, who straight there in the community, talking to young people, former gang member, and saying we need to be available. We need to step up and step in, not when something is happening. He is suggesting that we do a collective effort, whether you live in Southwest Fresno or not. That's what I'm hearing him say. Right.
And he's talking to the powers to be, too, not just the people in the hood. He's talking to the people who are making the decisions to send the police in our communities. So I applaud him for that. I recognize he does have that kind of connection.
Yeah. And so we appreciate that, Aaron, you educating on us on what we need to do. And I think that we still need to go a step further in talking about the jobs creations. And I know I was talking to someone in the Los Angeles area, and they were working in a particular area of South Central. And they had to re-educate the gang members about the money, because they were so used to just dealing and doing other ways to get money. And the way that this person said they explained it to him was, well, when you get locked up or when your lady becomes pregnant and then you don't have any money, that money's already ran out. So you might have made $2,000 in that one day from dealing and doing what you do, but at least with the job, you'll have the security. Now, how would you explain that? Would you explain that the same way as they had to do in that area of the Southern California? Do you think that would work here?
Well, Fresno is not like any other city in California.
Okay.
And it's not even a hard sell to get a young man to get a job because drug dealers have lost their funding. No, you don't see people living fancy lifestyles after selling drugs anymore. It's just not there. That way of life is a dinosaur. Okay. But I think that the thing that we could do to help 93706 is to make sure that our city puts a local hire policy that is not exclusive, but majority 93706. Okay. Because who's going to hire our young men?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be people coming from out of the other cities making a nice amount of money. Minimum wage is like $18 an hour for the labor unions right now. And our young men don't have the possibility, the opportunity, I should say, to be a part of that union.
Right. And I know there are programs.
So I mean, they're going to be widening streets, 6 streets in Southwest Fresno. I don't understand why we're not a part of that workforce.
That's a good question. That's a good question to the powers that be. We've had that.
That's a real solution to the problem. It's hard if a young man is making $1,500, $2,000 a week, for him not to be encouraged to stay making that kind of money because drug dealers don't make that money right now.
Wow. Okay. So we gotta discuss that. We
have some challenges.
Yeah, we have some challenges. We do.
No, I mean, if you live in the neighborhood, Mel, most of the people you see in the neighborhood, they walking. They don't even have enough money to buy cars.
Yeah.
You see them hanging out. You don't see a bunch of cars parked on the street. You see people walking from point A to point B.
Exactly. Yeah. But we have to, one of the things I think we have to do, though, in terms of that, we have to allow for chances for folks to understand that if you want one of these jobs, when you go to that bottle, it's got to be clean. And some of us don't quite understand that yet. When they do, I think you'll see that portion of it have an opportunity to get some of those jobs, because that's the biggest concern I've heard from the folks who were in that business of getting people ready for jobs.
We were teaching our young men soft skills on the street, so they understand how they have to behave when they get to job, that they have to work 10 times harder than everybody else on the job, because when we show up, they're not looking for nothing good when they see us to begin with. So those discussions we had those discussions already. We know that they have to test clean. Just because cannabis is legal now don't mean that they can be dirty when they pass the test. The money, $1,800 is a lot of money. If they know they can make that kind of money in a pay period, I don't see nobody having having too much resistance. And the great part about that is the people that really don't want it, they won't get it. But it's some people that do have enough dedication and discipline to acquire these jobs.
Okay, well, that makes
Everybody won't do it, but there's some that will. And those people deserve that opportunity that really doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives me more insight. I mean, I feel my wheels are turning in my head as far as what grants and stuff we could do, things that I've talked with Mel about before, where we can get the churches involved, and then those different job sites, where we're talking about the ag industry, what we were discussing for, and being able to hire these young people. That's where my wheels are turning. But Aaron, I again applaud you, and I thank you for calling in for Valley Black Talk Radio, educating us, educating our viewers and listeners, because we need to be involved. Is there anything that we can do to help you in your involvement in the community, in what you're doing when you're telling people to step in or step out? Is there any help that you need?
We just, if you can come to these meetings and we throw ideas at each other and we come up with something collectively. I don't have all of the answers. I know some things that I think may work. I think if we had a traffic solutions company, it would be a catalyst for our men to get in the union. Since we have all of these roads being widened, we're going to need traffic solutions, and those jobs will be 1 day, 2 days. So if we had a company that can hire young men for 1 day or 2 days, whatever, however the job lasts, they'll be right in the union and they'll be working for the rest of their lives if they decide to continue in construction.
Wow.
So just little things like that to just get the ball rolling, moving in the right direction. We need to have some companies that will hire us.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's the first part of it. Because if we're looking for other people to hire us, we see that it won't happen.
Thank
So
you.
we need some entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurs.
So that's some real sustainability.
Understood. Okay. Okay, now we know the direction. Sustainability, entrepreneurship, getting the young people hired into the union so they can have jobs the rest of life. That's what I'm kind of recapping for the viewer, so they know also in their mind how they can help and assist in this process. So Aaron, you said meetings.
You know, another thing that would help. We
Okay.
have we have some nonprofits that are attached to some money. If they could just be more hands-on in the community, that would help too. It's people that have resources, but they don't share them.
Yeah, but
And
here's
that's
the
a big
other side of it.
problem.
The other side of that, Aaron, though, is we need to know who they are. Not tell us on the air now, but you need to get with us so we know who has it. Because some of those folks are so below the radar, we don't know they even have it.
Yeah.
And they do that deliberately. So when folks who know that they have those resources and share with the people who can expose them, if you will, that they're not doing what they could, that helps everybody. So I'm not asking you to do it today, but at some point we need to know who those folks are so that we can say, okay, come on here, let's have a conversation. Boy, media is a powerful instrument. If we can get them to sit down and talk about it, we can get to the bottom of it. And a lot of times people, when they know you're getting ready to ask that question, they quickly go and try to fix the problem. So when they get before the camera, they can show you this is what we're doing now. So at some point we'll have that conversation.
So whenever you have time, you have my phone number, just give me a call and I'm free to come meet with you.
All right.
And we'll just, again, try to come up with a way to help this situation. I know it won't happen overnight, but one day will make a difference.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Have a good evening. Thank you.
See, that's the kind of community support we need.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are in the trenches. They know what time it is. They know what it takes. And like you said, he's not expecting everything right now. I know it's going to take a little time, but people like that need to be listened to, and they need to be in a position to be heard.
Yeah.
There's some other folks that were used to be connected to him. I don't know if they still are, but they had a bit of influence, but they didn't have the heart that this man has. And usually that's how it is. The person with the real heart, the people at the top will make sure that person doesn't get to the level of having the kind of influence that's necessary to change things. Because believe it or not, the culture of crime and things being unequal and people having problems, a lot of money costs to that. Like I told you, that superintendent of mine who told me years ago when I asked him, why are we not trying to make our kids the best that they can be? We're a small school district, man, we should everybody he said, Mel, there's no money in smart kids.
And he's right.
And it shocked me.
Sadly, he's right.
Yeah, the man, after I stepped back and thought about it, yeah, he's right. All of those special programs and funding, those for kids who are struggling. And he knew how to get the money for trucking. He would parade that up about our kids are challenged and boy, the money would be coming.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the other side of that. Man, when they leave us, what are we sending into society? What are we sending to the high schools? Kids that can't read. We have to. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to go to a brief break, and then we come back. Again, this has been the dominating topic, talking about the increase in shootings in Southwest Fresno. And I'll tell you why it hit me, and I was in the car, but I'll wait till after the break to be able to tell you more. You're watching this special edition of Valley Black Talk Radio. Julie Dudley Najee, Mel Sanders, and our lovely Jill Riversmith. She's back. Yay!
Yeah,
So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Can I nuke my coffee?
Yes.
Tax season is finally here, and you can't wait for those W-2s to come in. As soon as they do, well, the place to go is MKG Tax Consultants, locally owned here in Fresno. So what's so special about MKG? Well, you can use your last paycheck stub to pre-qualify for a tax advance. MKG makes it easy to file your taxes. You can even do it in person or by calling 866-675-3933 or with their free mobile tax app. You can file anywhere and get your max tax refund and free Uber rides. MKG will also loan you up to $2,510. All you have to do is qualify. No one else, including the big chains and other local shops, can do that. It's just the MKG Tax Time Loan Matching Program with a 90% approval rate. So if you want your tax refund now and don't want to wait until the end of February to check out MKG Tax Consultants today, call 866-675-3933, 866-675-3933, or visit us online at mkgtax.com.
To get your tax return ASAP, you're going to want to call MKG 460-7504, 460-7504. MKG Tax Consultants are your local tax experts and offers the fastest tax refunds in Fresno. Get your taxes filed right now in person, over the phone, email, or text message. MKG even offers pickup and delivery. To get your tax return ASAP, you're going to want to call MKG 460-7504, 460-7504. MKG Tax Consultants are your local tax experts and offers the fastest tax refunds in Fresno. Get your taxes filed right now in person, over the phone, email, or text message. MKG even offers pickup and delivery service at no cost to you. Just call MKG at 460-7504, 460-7504. Need fast cash? Ever been denied on a loan? MKG offers a $750 easy advance loan and $750 pre-funded loans at no charge to you. 80% approval rate in 24 to 48 hours. MKG will also hook up everyone who files with them or refers a friend with $50 cash or with a $25, $50, or $100 faster money prepaid Visa reward card with a valid W-2. You want your money back ASAP? Then hit up MKG 460-7504, 460-7504.
California loans are made pursuant to MKG Money Service Business. California Department of Business Oversight Finance Letters License 60 DBL 45224.
I'm through the WIC. Like one of the girls is like, "Oh, Deb, you heard about the Black Infant Health Program? You should try it." And I was like, "Okay, like I guess." And then like I Googled it and I was like, "Oh, I should do this, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, do it. You know, we're not there and you need all the help you could get." And I was like, "Okay." So I just came in, and group is so fun, like talking to everyone and then seeing other pregnant people. It's like, oh, there's other pregos around here. Pregos, pregnant women. Come to the program, try it out. Even if you're like on the fence about it, try it out at least. You know, like you never know how you'll feel about it. Because I'm not gonna say everyone's experience is gonna be like the same as mine, but try it. I think everything you should try. There's so much support out there and so much help. You just have to sometimes go to it, you know, rather than trying to have some stuff come to you. So try it. It's a really fun program and you will not regret it. I promise you. You will not waste your time. Like, it's a really, really worth going to and being in, and like all the women that coordinate the program are so great, and it's a great program. I could talk about it for weeks. It was hard because I was actually in high school when I got pregnant. I was finishing up my junior year. It was the end, it was almost summer. And I got pregnant with my son, who's gonna be 4 this year. And I was in school. I went the whole beginning of my first semester in high school pregnant, and my teacher, I don't know why he was on me. He's like a dad to me, you know, and I kept trying to get him to sign my paper so that I can go on break. So, you know, and he would not sign it. He was like, "Nope, I'm not signing it. You know, you're gonna stay at school. You know, you're not going to continuation right now." And I stayed at school up until about, I want to say 3 weeks before I had my son. And I'm glad he did that. He made me stay at school. I had my son December 31st. I went back to school on, February the 2nd. I was behind and it was hard to catch up, but I did it and I graduated. Got to walk the stage with my class. It was being a young mom. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna be a statistic. I'm not gonna drop out of school. You know, I wanted to graduate. I seen my friends and they were all, you know, they were all at school. I wanted to go to school too. And I did, and I enjoyed it. It was a support I had, and making it through every day was a big challenge because I didn't know what I was doing. And hard, and I had my mom. I didn't know what I was doing. I would get scared at times. I would panic. And my mom, she was like, you know, she was always there holding my hand right there. So everything was a challenge. Every day was a challenge. I missed my prom. I missed grad night, but it was all worth it.
Interesting discussion during the break. Back to Valley Black Talk Radio. My name is Julie Dudley Najib, Mel Sanders, Joel Rivers Smith. Today is February 11, 2018, and it's Sunday. Oh, is it Sunday? I put a little bit of creme. I don't want to tell you all my secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good coffee.
It was pretty good. Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
why do you having coffee?
Yeah.
With
So,
almond milk?
but yeah, almond and coconut milk mixture. And so it's a little bit of vanilla. It's actually an almond, well, since we're asking about it, but it's an almond milk, coconut milk, all the way all organic vanilla mixture.
That's
Vanilla,
good stuff.
vanilla
Yeah.
flavoring. Or extra.
Real vanilla.
Real, oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
That's
there
what-
coffee in there?
Yeah.
Other everything, but you didn't say, I'm like, is there, so you, all that stuff is in the coffee.
That's
Yeah.
it. And it tastes good, people. You can dip your cookie in it. It tastes good.
So, on more serious topics, though, this is what we've been talking about. Just to catch people up, we just had Aaron Foster, who is a community leader and that recently called in, and they're talking, and Fresno Bee has it where it's the gang war continues, man shot near Fresno church, and this is the continuation. Now, what I was going to say, what I said before the break, I was taken back because this morning I was approached by a non-black person that was concerned about these shootings. And the person made it clear that they were concerned about the shootings coming to their neighborhood, and they made a broad statement by saying, well, the shootings are happening everywhere in Fresno. Fresno's a dangerous place. You know, a person like me might want to leave. And this is, again, a non-black person that was saying that to me. I said, okay. And this individual felt comfortable coming up to me and saying, well, Julia, do you feel comfortable living here? And do you know what's going on? And I felt clueless at the moment because I had a pretty tough weekend. But,
Of your own.
yeah, right? So somehow I missed that.
Another way.
And so my point is, you have non-black people that read this newspaper every day, daily. I don't. I hate to say that. I don't read the Fresno Bee. That's not where I get my news all the time. And I don't know if that's where we're reaching all the African Americans, people like me, even though I read a lot of news. But this person seemed most concerned and was very wondering. He basically said, "What is your community going to do about it?"
Your
I'm like,
community.
my community? I thought my community was everybody, But person got shot just walking down the street doing nothing. So what comes out of this is either stories, because I thought it was just people getting shot randomly. But when I read the Fresno Bee, and I can only go off of what's here, I'm hearing that it's based on retaliatory efforts and people retaliating against other people. And we know that when we say Antonio Perry, that's Tony Perry's son. Tony Perry recently passed away. He was the coach.
Yeah, very known athletic encourager to a whole lot of athletes from baseball to football. So that
Okay.
would include basketball.
Okay.
He- and being a community supporter at the school level.
But then the terrible irony is that his
Wow.
son
Yes, just
passed
this
away,
past week.
just
Shot
past week.
son. Man, that just hurts. Ooh, that hurts.
24 years old? Yeah.
Man.
And that's so young. I'm thinking that, those are the age of my kids. So I know for Linus it hit heavy, for me it hit heavy. And I'm thinking, okay, what can we do? And, it kind of bothered us this afternoon. But it bothered me more that this, non-African American person approached me about it. Not only was I kind of clueless about it, because like that would be the importance of why we have contacted us, because we were in a place this weekend where someone could have told us that information, and no one told us that information.
Did they know it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know where you were now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew.
Yeah. But nobody told us this information.
And what they were talking about is who shot John.
Right.
Something that was completely
Totally irrelevant, where this was
Yeah.
more relevant than whatever we were talking about. And I don't know when people will see a precedence and the importance of black media. I just don't know. I thought it would be in this era, being some of the challenges that people with the Trump administration we've been seeing. But
It ain't over. You just don't give up hope, sweetheart. It's
Yeah.
coming. It's coming. But
Yeah.
you ain't gonna be getting it from these folks. The other side of it. They'll give you the doom and gloom, but they're not gonna give you. That's what you do. I didn't know that.
tell us when we're back in the air.
Used to be,
Back on air.
I think the one in San
Hey there,
Francisco
folks. We
is
apologize for the technical difficulties. It's interesting. It only happens when we have these important topics. But at least we're not on YouTube anymore and Facebook, who usually tell us we have inappropriate content because I guess we're a black program. I think that's interesting. And so,
They
I don't
didn't
know.
say that when that girl live streamed that shooting Fernando Castillo.
I know.
They didn't shut that off.
I know. And that's what's so ironic. So,
thank God
we, yeah, it
I
was.
think they just weren't quick enough on the draw then. They would have.
So we apologize for that. That's the first, we haven't had that in a long time, technical difficulties where the camera's not going on, so we just had to restart, reboot. But the good thing about technology, when you let it reboot, it says, okay, thank you, and then it goes back to what it wants to do. I don't know, go figure. But at any rate, we had been talking about our special edition, speaking about Southwest Fresno and talking about all the shootings that are happening, the gang war that's continuing. I just got through, and I don't know if this captured or not, but I just got through talking about a non-black person that was concerned about the shootings.
Yeah, that's why it went off.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. As soon as I said that, then it went off, right? Isn't that strange? And so we were talking about, this person was very concerned about his neighborhood, and he was keeping up with the news. He's watching the Fresno, he's reading this. We're not reading this. I'm not. So when he's telling me all this is going on, I'm like, well, where are you getting this information from? Oh, it's in the news. Oh. I'm like, okay.
Not in my news feed.
Not in mine. And so he got his from the Fresno Bee. He said, well, it's also on TV. I'm like, oh. So sometimes I'll watch the news at night, sometimes I won't. Like, I think it just depends on how busy I am. But I'm more apt to probably watch one of our media outlets to find out what's going on before I know. And I think my point in saying all that is we were somewhere this weekend where nobody told us about what was going on. And we could have been told about what was going on, but no one told us about what was going on. And I think that's where we left off with, that's unfortunate. When will we get to that point where we're considered the source to make sure we get to all the people? I don't know. We're available on apps. So people say, why, I don't have money to buy the Omni Network. Well, no problem, because there's an app and that's free. And you're able to get the news and information. But if we don't have, if we don't know what's going on, we can't cover it. And if we don't have the interns or the money for the interns to be able to put that out there, we can't cover it either. So it's like a double-edged sword when we're talking about fundraisers and the different things that the Omni Network does to make sure it can maintain and be able to send people out. And when we can't send people out, it's either myself or Lynn is going out there ourselves to go do it. So now we have a situation, and Aaron Foster called in and said we can all be accountable by all of us stepping in, all of us being a part of it. There are ways of doing this where he discussed making sure our young people can be part of these unions and getting them some union jobs. So there are a couple, like I know that Mr. Leroy Candler, he has a program, if I'm not mistaken. I know that Mr. Baines, our District 3 representative, has some type of program, but maybe are they too young to be able to operate in those programs? I mean, how old do you have to be in these construction jobs?
I don't think that's where the obstacle is. I had a conversation with Mr. Candler a few years ago, and when he was really trying to push the unions to be more receptive to African Americans. As you know, the history of the unions in our community has been that we are the last hired and the first fired, and we are not in the hierarchy of making decisions. When you look at all of the folks who are in the decision-making areas, they don't look like us. And if it is, it's very limited. And those folks who sit there, I would suggest to you that they're going to be quiet and not speak out because they like those seats. Those are some good union positions that send you all over the country to be a part of other delegations to talk about the goodness of a union and why it's important. But at the end of the day, unions have not been real friendly to African Americans. And his challenge was to try to bridge that gap and make inroads there by working from the bottom up. I was getting young people ready, trained so they could get in and get those good jobs. He felt like that a job like that would change the lifestyles of a lot of people. And he's right. But if somebody's at the door, holding it closed, got their foot on the door, it makes it difficult for you to get in there. So a lot of that is going to have to be done with the old-fashioned tactics of union busting. Remember On the Waterfront?
Yeah.
That movie?
Yes, I do.
We're going to have some of that to make it, because they don't believe anything else. I mean, we have the entities that we can have input with that issue those jobs to unions, such as school districts, city government, county government, state government. Those folks have to be accountable to say, look, we're not going to let this contract go unless you show us that you have some equity in your hiring practices. And that's all. We're not talking about giving us all the jobs. We just want equity. I mean, that's true in any entity that uses public funds.
Right.
Now, private people, they're but we have more leverage with the public dollar to say we need equity. And when we get that, now we can begin to put some folks to work and to change some lives. But that's, to me, is where we're going to have to start. We're going to have to start with where we have our vote counts, and the people that we put in office will have to be willing to stand up and say, we're not going to allow this project to move forward unless we can get some equity. Every other group is getting it. We're the only ones outside.
And so why, though, are we the only ones outside? See, we keep getting left out of the equity.
Because our choice of leadership, who doesn't have the intestinal fortitude.
It goes back to leadership.
To stand up and say, and then one of the things, Johnny Nellum and I were good friends and arch enemies at some point or another. But one thing I can say about him is that when he stood up and he believed in something, when he went down to City Hall or he went down to the school board and stood up and said something and was willing to pound on that table and raise his voice, things happened. And a lot of times he wasn't even sincere. They didn't know that. We'd walk out, that vein would pop up in his neck and he'd be just yelling and screaming. And we'd get outside the building and we'd bad. Man, he said, did you see how that was, man? Did you see how that was? Man, I scared him, didn't you see? But it worked. Now, they didn't know that. And maybe this is, 10 years ago, so I can say it and they wouldn't know. But it was all part of the game. But the game worked because
performance.
Folks, yes.
All part of the performance.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
And if you have to perform to get what you need
for your
then
community,
you perform.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, those entities, man, we don't want that crazy guy back down here, man. And the media showed up because they like to highlight stuff like that. That makes for good news. For good, all the stations showed up. If one missed it, oh man, next time they're going to be there. The other ones are going. So that's what we need. That kind of
personality.
Yeah, personality and vision by folks who are sitting in positions. And sometimes you don't have the demeanor to do that. But there are other folks in the community who have nothing to lose by being the mouthpiece. But a lot of times they need to know exactly what they need to say and where, what area they. An example. When Johnny Nellum pulled one of the stunts, when he pulled one of the performances like that, thank you. It was at a Fresno Unified board meeting. We had met with some African American administrators from Fresno Unified, and they had identified some problems within Unified specific and the areas that were underperforming, and they had shared with Johnny what he needs to come to the board meeting and what he needs to talk about because they're getting ready to vote on this tonight. You need to bring these issues forward. And we had a bunch of folks there, and we had some folks from the nation were there, and they were standing around the walls, and sometimes they can be very intimidating, just standing there because they're not sitting down, they're standing, and
at attention.
Yeah. So
without weapons, by the way,
they didn't have to have any. The weapons was that black skin and that bow tie.
Exactly.
So when he started talking, you could tell people were. And the board members who were getting ready to make a decision, and that superintendent, oh man, can we table this item? And we need to revisit this. And one of the board members who looked like us said, I'm appalled, and I think we need to look into what Mr. Nellum was saying, and blah, blah. Man, it worked like charm. But, it was something that when you can't go themselves, those folks who were that worked in the system and couldn't expose their hand, and they shared the information and told him exactly what to say so that when you shot, you hit something, you wouldn't just shoot and, you hit. That's how you work and you're effective. And we need some more of those kinds of situations where we have people who are inside the house who are not afraid to share with people who are outside. If you don't have the courage or you're in a position where you can't stand up and say it, tell some other folks so they can do that. But it's important to have the right leadership, because I know some situations where we may have the person with the right skin tone in a position of being able to speak out, but they would throw the individual who shared the information with them under the bus. I mean, they get up and say, well, my understanding from Mr. Jones over here, who works for you, that you guys are doing A, B, and C. Well, now Mr. Jones is never going to be able to get any more information because you just exposed him, threw him under the bus. So you have to have wise leadership sitting in those spots too. You can't just have any, throw people under the bus because they have the right information.
I don't know if that's on accident though.
Well, that's terrible if it's done on
It's
purpose.
terrible either way, but yeah.
Meaning what?
I mean, why would you throw someone under the bus unless you don't want them to provide any
you
more
want to
information?
demonstrate that you have somebody in your house. I got somebody in your house watching you that's telling me.
Unless your house is paying me. I mean, we just, there's so much graft and crime. And frankly, it seems like a lot of people, I won't say most, and I'm just feeling really jaded tonight, I guess. Most people can be bought with a hot dog.
Yep.
It doesn't take anything.
Yes, ma'am.
So when someone does something that seems real out of character or contrary to what you would think would be the smart thing for them, follow the money. Well, you don't know the money is there.
Yeah.
But you're going,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be on my team.
Yeah.
Why is he saying that Joe is the one who found out?
So
And you
why-
can't figure it out. That's because Joe is only given $50 and Joe's opponent over there is given
give it up.
$300.
Yeah.
And you need to understand why this person would.
So I'm trying to get how did we wind up talking about the Republicans and Donald Trump?
We did.
We didn't.
Yes, you did. What I just heard was the exact thing that's happening in D.C. Those Republicans are following Donald Trump, and doing everything he said, and they know he's wrong. But they'll follow him because, like you said.
Because of leadership is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not him. I mean, they just don't want to lose their majority. It's not. You're not saying that they actually like him or think what he's doing is right.
For whatever reason, they're supporting whatever he suggests.
Yeah,
They're
for
going-
whatever
are we
reason,
equate-
because they're the party in power and they want to remain the
That has
party.
nothing to do with
But-
that's not the
They
same
have
thing
a
as the
lose.
leadership, though. That's not the same thing what you were talking about.
Yeah, but it also speaks to having short vision.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is look around and see what's happening, even at the state level or the local level, in all of these elections in these communities. Man, Republicans who had strongholds on areas are losing left and right because they have blinders on, following this leader over the cliff, thinking he's going to save them.
So then who's the leadership in our community that it's blinded when we can't get a hold of the situation here in Southwest Fresno?
Well, you need to look at people who look like us that are in
Okay.
positions of leadership.
Okay.
And that tells you as much as you need to know about
We
whether
don't
or
have
not.
any people in positions of leadership.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't?
No.
Well, it depends on what you talk about, positions of leadership. Are those churches?
No, she's right. She's right. We don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Because black people are a very, and I'm not, call
Not
me
for
and
the
tell me
reason
I'm
she's
wrong
saying.
if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
that's
black
for the reason
people
she's saying,
are
but
an
we don't.
extremely fractious people, have been for generations, partly bred into us by slavery.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get two black people to follow one. That's
Mm-hmm.
why there's a church on every single corner.
And a liquor store right next door. Liquor store right next door.
Yeah.
But that's not the part that you were going
And a
at.
cannabis house
Yeah.
right around the corner from there.
Yeah, the liquor store, but the church, because we can't get along, we'll go to any liquor store.
Yeah. But you made a good point about the church, because we'll split and fracture from that
Same
church to go
denomination.
create our own.
Instead of just being able to
Same
follow
denomination.
a leader, no, we don't want to follow a leader.
But part of that has to do with weak leadership. If you look at
No,
what's going on-
no,
yes, it does.
no.
Yes, it
I'm going to have to
does.
disagree with
Oh,
you on
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Nope,
well, you need to-
no, no,
I'm
no,
telling
no,
you,
no,
there
you're
are
wrong.
A lot of people
You're wrong.
Who
You're
have
wrong.
splintered
No.
because the leadership didn't know how to keep them together.
No,
You know
Nope.
what I just learned last
I
night?
I
was
thought
watching
that.
something?
No.
Only
know that.
4%
No.
of African American, well, okay, now I'm not sure if they said churches or people. I don't remember. I think they said churches. In any event, only 4% of them in the South supported Dr. King, believed that what he
Right.
was doing
That's
was
correct.
right,
Churches,
and intended to
Exactly.
participate.
Yes.
That's a small amount.
4%.
That's a small amount.
If you
The
can't
letter
follow
from
Dr.
Birmingham.
King,
Yes.
you can't follow
Anybody.
No, because you have to consider the times.
No,
You
no,
If you
no,
have your niche
no.
as a black church in
No.
the community, and you've got access to the white community to get what you need specifically for your church, and here comes this guy coming out disrupting everything, telling you, man, you can have the whole pie. You don't have to worry about these crumbs because it belongs to you. Look at your numbers, man.
But that's what I just
can't
said.
have you coming over here messing up my ship.
But that's what I just said. We will follow. It's not about leadership.
It's not.
You can provide good leadership. First off, we don't like each other.
Yep.
I'm glad
And
Jewel is
second
black. I
off-
got somebody to really
Yep.
fight with now. Who's wrong, y'all?
No, she's right.
And
I'm going to
second
say
of
something
all-
after she says something.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Go ahead, Jewel.
Bring it.
Help school him. He needs help.
My
Help Mel,
interest,
please.
My whatever is it's all about me. And
Yes.
we all actually, I mean, as humans, that's kind of a human thing. However,
But
we have it real strong in our community. And while I can understand, I mean, historically, the reasons why, that's why we don't get anywhere. Yeah, the white man has his foot on our neck and all of that.
To a
It is
point.
true. But we are our own worst enemies.
I was talking to my dad about the same situation. I feel that he's a very wise man. And I asked him about the same topic we're talking about now in regards to leadership, because of some of the things that we're going through as a black media and just some of the issues. And one of the things he told me was, well, Julia, you have to think in the black community, we feel that when we're in charge of something, that's us, we in charge, and everybody knows I'll just say head Negro in charge.
HNWIC.
Okay.
What's in charge? Get the W
Right.
in there. Get that W in there.
Right. Whereas the mainstream has no idea that that's the head Negro in charge. But in our community, we feel like we're the head Negro in charge. So when, this is the way he
What
described
do you
it.
mean? Back that
This
up.
is what
a
he's
minute. Where's
saying.
the mainstream? Said it again.
Okay,
Where's the
well,
mainstream? What's
he's
the
saying
mainstream?
when he's talking about the mainstream, he's saying if you're
White
looking at
people
the
don't have that
whole,
same-
if you're looking at the whole national attention, because he said, for instance, we were talking about Juneteenth. Let me
Right.
just tell you what we were speaking about. He said half of the, there's so many non-black people that don't even know what Juneteenth is. They don't even understand what a struggle is if you're talking about two entities having an event. And one entity thinks they should have one over the other, or, vice versa. And so he was just explaining that when, unfortunately, when African Americans feel that they're in charge and they've been in charge of something for, 1 to 2 years or whatever it is, well, either another person out here says, I can do the same thing, and either tries to do it during the same time or take over what they're doing because they're getting that notoriety. And he's saying, unfortunately, on that national platform, it's hard for us to get power like that. And so we figure, well, we can squabble over that power that's in the black community, because then I'm recognized as somebody. And then I'm recognized because that I will at least have power in my community. I may not have power over here.
That really matters. But I'm gonna come over here and I'm I'm big shot over here.
I'm the big shot over
I can
here.
step on you.
Yeah, really. And so he explained that to me so eloquently, much better than the way I explained. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. And so he explained to me also about a person who was retired, African Americans who were retired. And that came up just because the same dynamics of some of the situations happening here, same thing happening in San Jose, same thing happening in other places in the Bay Area, same thing happening with some other of his friends. So he explained it that these individuals, African Americans who have just retired, felt like they were in positions of power, or felt like they were needed, or felt like they were important. And then once they've retired, there isn't anything until they latch on to another organization or something in the community where they can feel that same need, feel that same want, feel that same appreciation. But then it becomes, well, I'm in power because I worked here for some odd years, 20 years, 25 years. I have the experience to do this because I am who I am, because I worked for Computech, which is an old computer company, or I work for Xerox, so therefore I am, and I will be recognized. So then we got these squabbles, these inner squabbles within our own communities, within our own organizations, battling one another. Retiree over here, well, I'm important now, and I'm important because now I'm the vice president, I'm the president of this, and I used to work for so-and-so, and I got the experience, and I am somebody. That's the way he explained that. I thought that was very interesting. He kind of schooled me on that one, because I was coming from a totally different premise. But when he explained to me that same thing is happening everywhere else, and has been happening since he mentioned the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. He said that's been happening ever since Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King has been alive. So he said it's nothing new. He said, unfortunately, it is something that was conditioned from slavery. And he said, and he felt that he thought we would one day get past that, overcome it. He said he sees clearly we have not.
No, we haven't. And
We have not.
part of it is by design, and other it is by not having the kind of independent leadership to make it happen. And I mean by that, the preachers in our community for years were the ones that people would go to have them speak on their behalf. And when the folks who run the system figured out that the best way to make sure we keep these people in check is to get to those leaders, like the preacher in the movie what was that movie where Samuel Jackson killed them two boys for raping his daughter? And the preacher came in with the NAACP talking about we're going to raise some money for your legal defense fund, and we're bringing our own lawyer, and we're going to get the money to him. And Samuel Jackson said, well, wait a minute. If you raise the money, told the people you raised the money for me, I want this lawyer right here, Hanahan, whatever that boy y'all like, that pretty white boy, whatever his name is.
Me, y'all.
You're talking about Thurgood Marshall money. You finally watched the movie then.
No, that wasn't Thurgood Marshall.
Well, that would.
Not Mrs. Bernie.
But it wasn't Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
With Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. That
oh.
was him. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was the attorney. No,
that's not Mr. Bernie.
No,
That's I can't remember. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. There was, yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, he was smart enough to say, look, either you give the money to my lawyer, who I pick. Y'all raise how much? $7,000. Okay, well y'all give the money to my man, who I pick. Or else I'm gonna tell everybody in your congregation you raised that money on false pretenses, and you want to give it to the NAACP, and they gonna give you some money back. So guess what they had to do? They had to give him all of that $7,000 they raised, because they were using that to make sure they took care of what they wanted, but they didn't really care about Samuel Jackson. They just wanted to get the money.
Yeah.
So a lot of that went on to keep our leadership from standing up for what was right.
The money part.
Yeah, they say,
So
well,
my
let's
dad
make sure
talked about that too. I mean, this was a month or 2 months ago when he was, in Newark, New Jersey, and I guess a flood of money came in the 70s, and he said it was like a war zone.
Oh, yeah.
Black folks
Here
were
too.
in there fighting.
Here too.
And
Redevelopment, that's when they took all of that
Yeah.
stuff out of Southwest Fresno, killed all those businesses, we're going to redo them, and we're going to make everything right. Man, please. And they
Organizations
had to
were
spend it
fighting.
because it was something like...
It was a lot.
In Fresno, they had to spend like $300,000 a week,
Yeah. It was
or
ridiculous.
else they would be losing it.
Yeah.
They were spending money and throwing away money, doing all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
And nothing ever was fixed.
Yeah.
You go today, you'll see the remnants of all of that redevelopment money coming in here years ago, and it went straight through. Look at North Fresno.
Yeah.
Look at every place else. Nothing stayed here. So part of that is by design. Well, all of it's by design, but a lot of it had to do with poor leadership. And people who were not equipped to deal with that, but yet they were sitting in positions of power and influence. So I don't know.
I don't know, but that was my point with the leadership piece. As far as within the community, he just remembers in the Dr. King days, it was bad. He said they did not support Dr. King.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not. That
and-
letter from Birmingham was written to the preachers, the religious community, telling them about y'all talking about y'all believe in who?
Themselves.
Yeah.
Telling them about themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. And he said, and so when he
They don't
also,
like to talk about that. They'll tell you about I Have a Dream. You played all that on the televisions and all of the speeches on it, but they don't tell you about that other stuff. And King was a radical. He was a real, that like Jesus. Man, give me a stick. Let me run these people out of this temple. So
See, and that's where I am.
yeah, and so he said the same situation happened when he was helping San Jose State with their curriculum, because I don't know, I think he has a degree in Africana studies along with his whatever other degrees. And at that time, Tommy Smith and they came back with the Black Fist, and so they had to deal with that when they were coming back, because he was at San Jose State during that time. You had half the black folks saying, "Oh, why did he do this? He made it bad for all the black folks."
2/3.
yes,
Yeah,
not half.
more than 2/3. Okay, I'm sorry, you're right. Correction.
And some of them was
His
preachers.
family.
Yeah.
A lot of them was
That's
preachers.
about it. They were on his side.
Okay,
A lot of
so
them preachers was that right there.
Oh,
talking about
they were in the
I don't know
middle
why
of
they
that.
did that.
Yeah.
Man, they disrespected this country.
But so as a staff, they had to deal with that because there was so much racism on the campus during that time between blacks and whites because of that it was intense. But they were mad at Tommy. They were mad that,
Oh
you
no,
know,
there was racism on the campus.
right,
Anyway.
right.
Yeah.
Not because of that.
No, not because of that.
That
I'm saying,
certainly amped up.
right. It amped it up. So that's my
like taking a
point.
knee at the football game.
Yeah.
Same principle.
Yeah.
It-
And so that was the point. He said, it's been like that.
Yeah,
And he's
he's right about that.
trying to school me on that because of course I wasn't alive during that time. But history has not changed.
Not at
Neither
all.
has the black community in that sense. So when we're talking about leadership, we have a few issues.
Yeah.
It's unless you're with the collective group and then you get with another group that doesn't mind working with this group, that's kind of how you have to do it and hopefully move forward. Now, I am happy to see that at least on the front page, I see Pastor DJ Kreiner, and then I also see Pastor BT Lewis. So it seems like they're trying to work together in handling the problem. But my question is, I know they're saying people need to come to their church, but then what? So if they're saying the churches need to be open for these young people, how are they going to be open for these young people other than Sunday? And
You know, I don't know, but I'm so tired of talking about leadership.
yeah,
I mean, in general, because it matters. It does matter. But I really don't think that's our problem.
Really?
No.
Okay, share with us what you believe the problem is, if that's not part of it.
I believe too many ill-raised people are having too many babies with too many people who they don't raise, and as such, we have a completely failed society. Maybe not completely failed.
Didn't I
But
tell you she was
and
a
I'm talking
Republican?
about society.
I told you
as
she's
in
a
black
Republican.
folks.
Didn't I tell you she's a Republican?
Not our larger
hidden
society.
underneath, right?
Yeah, hidden Republican. Yeah, but that's what they say. Same thing.
And I don't want no more immigrants here either.
And then their wall needs to be going all the way to China, right?
Yeah.
Forget Mexico, it needs to go to China.
No, I'm just kidding about those
No,
last two.
yeah.
No trouble with immigrants.
Yeah, I have no trouble with the wall. I'm not paying for a wall, by the way.
Yeah,
But anyway.
yeah. But I really, I really have to read Juan Williams and He Whose Name Shall Not Be Spoken, Cosby again, right? Because when I first read their books, it was like, mother, what? Who you think you're talking to? But you know what? A decade on, I don't know. I need to pick them up again. To me, they are not at all sympathetic or even cognizant of the fact that it's not all us. You know, there is a boot on our neck.
Right.
And neither one of them gave any viewpoint, from that perspective. But basically, and also I don't think you need to shame people to, like Bill Cosby just shamed people, young people. I don't think that's necessary.
Why not?
Because I don't think it accomplishes
Was it
anything.
true?
You don't win anybody by shaming them. You do not win anybody by shaming them.
Yeah.
Well,
However, I know something needs to be done. And see, the thing is, leadership is real important. But leadership is only outside the house. I mean, if we're not talking parents, we're talking like community leadership. Very important. But what happens in your
They set
house
the tone.
determines who you're sending out, right? When you go to send your kids out of the house, what kind of person are you sending into the world every day? Well, if you got 15 boyfriends and 12 kids,
and all of them got different daddies.
all of them got different daddies,
Yeah, what
you
message
haven't
you
worked in 5 years, you're not about taking classes or anything else. Look,
So you.
I have been blessed in many ways. So I'm not talking about, people get their feelings hurt. Well, so she had parents who helped her buy a house. Now she's talking about everybody else. You're right. I've been very blessed, but I've had a lot to work through too. And you're left with two things, right? That person over there, she's real blessed, and her people, they have at least a little bit of money and are able to help her. And so I'm not listening to anything she says, right? And then you can stay the way you are, or you can just learn some stuff. Just figure out some stuff that you shouldn't be having kids that you can't support. And I don't mean on welfare.
So let me
That's
ask you
not
this.
supporting them.
Yeah, let me ask you this. In that particular instance, how much culpability is it in the system, the welfare system in particular, in the condition of that woman with those 12 different boyfriends and 9 different baby daddies? Does the welfare department have any blame in that?
Of course not.
Really?
Were they there when she opened her legs?
Were they there when she wanted someplace to stay and something to eat?
She had some place to stay and something to eat.
Where?
I'm not talking about homeless people.
Well, the system says.
If you want to talk about
if
homeless
you-
people, that's a different discussion.
No, they're saying it to me because they told her, get that man's clothes, get it out of there. If you want some help from us to take care of those kids you got, even that first 2,
Yeah,
get
we're
that
not
man
going
out
to
of
pay
there.
for a
We're-
non-working man to be laying up at your house.
And
You
so-
shouldn't have got pregnant in
So
the
why
first
did they
place.
have it there in the first? What happened to relying on your family See, the
If
system
you were relying on your
graduated to.
family, you wouldn't need us at the welfare department.
No.
If your family had anything to offer.
Exactly. I would say that. No, they had something to offer, but the system says we're going to make you dependent on us by pulling you away from your
But it
family
doesn't
and
matter.
make you. Yeah, it matters.
No, because you
Yes,
know what?
it does.
You're talking about what they call secondary effects. Once you get to secondary effects, whatever happens, happens. I'm talking about first round. Don't get pregnant in the first place.
Don't
Then you
help
don't have to
welfare
worry
in the
about
first place,
welfare
and you
kicking
ain't
your
got to be
man
looking
out.
over there to try to get some help. Because now you know I can't have all these kids that can't pay for them. I can't live in a house with mom. They're not going to stand for that.
Well, you should have
but
thought of
when
that
the
before you
system
got
says,
pregnant.
"Don't worry about it, you got them," we're not going to let those kids go hungry. But we don't want the man in the house to help kind of guide that. We want him out of that house, and we'll give you something to take you and your kids. Just 10 years ago is when they said we only going to pay for that first. What is it? First 2, and after that we ain't giving you nothing. They just started that. They've been giving you money for all of
You
them.
say that as if it's a bad thing.
It's real bad.
How many irresponsible, thoughtless acts
Bunch of 'em.
do you want to support? Are you going to give your check?
You have to, because you're paying by your tax
No,
dollars.
no.
All of us are giving a few pennies every month to a system that says we're going to take care of those folks over there.
You know where I would like to see my tax dollars go? Into people that are trying to rise above, not people that are happy having 8 babies by 15
So
men.
cut off the welfare. And
I'm
let's
not
go
saying-
back to you
I'm not
coming
saying
down.
cut it off,
Yeah, you cut it off.
but I am
cut
saying
off the
I didn't have any
Section
problem
8.
with welfare
Cut off all
reform.
of that. If
No.
you want to change, you want to see a massive
No,
change,
you have
then
a
you make
specific
communities.
amount of time that
Well,
you're on
yeah, we
welfare.
just- whoa,
It
I
doesn't
like
go
that.
on forever and ever.
Where's the popcorn? I forgot to bring the microwave popcorn.
Type of welfare you can get. We're
Yeah.
not just going to pay you to lay up and have babies, and I got to go to work
But
every
you
day.
did. But they are. And they're doing it. And I say eliminate all of that and let's start from scratch. Let's say, look, families are going to take care of families and churches are going to help take care of families. But us as taxpayers, we're not going to take care of you after you didn't made your choice. Now it's on you.
It's not on any. It's not on the churches. It's not.
Yes,
I
it
would
is.
say.
Yes, it
I would
is.
say that it is. That
Yeah.
I would hope that you would have a family that would help, but you have a personal responsibility to yourself
Yes,
that
you
is
do.
greater than any
Yes.
responsibility anybody
So
else has
eliminate
to
the
you.
crutch.
And when you create problems for yourself,
Yes, I agree.
I don't go around saying, you know what? I just think it's awful that I can't fit on the roller coaster at the amusement park. I love roller coasters. You know
that's
what?
altogether
My ass
different.
is huge.
That ain't-
no, it
that's
is not
altogether different. Yes, it is.
I put myself in
Yes,
this situation,
yes.
and whatever I have to deal with. Look, I don't
No.
expect Kaiser to turn me away and say, "Oh, you're too big," because they're a hospital
And you're
they
paying
have
for
to
that.
help.
You're paying for that.
Exactly, and
So,
I pay a premium.
yes.
But that is very different from, oh, I have all these kids, and you know what? It's not even just about kids, because I don't want to. Maybe it's the men,
I
right?
do.
They don't even. They don't get WIC and stuff for kids. Men generally, right? Because the kids aren't with them.
Unless they
Right.
have it.
Okay,
Yeah,
unless they have it,
custody,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
They
but
have
if you
custody.
just talk about the men, because I don't want to just hate on the women, but let me be very clear about something. I get very annoyed and won't even have conversations with those people who say, "Well, he got me pregnant. He's part of it too." He is not part of it. You have to grow that baby. You have to have that baby. So going around thinking you're going to make him take responsibility, whatever, that's foolish. Don't do it in the first place. If you don't think that he's husband, father material, you shouldn't be there in the first place. If there's
True
a
that.
chance of you getting pregnant.
Yeah,
now,
true
if
that.
you can't get pregnant, then you label
Yeah,
who you
yeah.
want. Okay, but to go back to men, you know, even though we have young men walking around here with their hand out.
And getting it. You know where they're getting it from? The girls who get the money from the system to take care of their kid, and he has a route. He got a girlfriend over here, got another one over there, got another one. And you know what he tells them? If you want, she will. So now you're sitting there figuring out, oh, I really like him. I like his hair. And he said, if I don't, man, I hate to see him with her. Or,
And
you
that
know,
level of thinking is what keeps people.
But that level of thinking is absolutely real. Did you see that movie, John? Is that John Singleton's
No,
movie,
but that's
Baby
my
Boy?
point. Because you think on that level doesn't mean that I should be responsible
so
for
cut it
taking
off.
care of
So
you.
cut it off. That's all I'm
No.
saying. Cut off everything.
No.
And let's go back to where it used to be before that system came in.
Well,
where
you can cut
had
off
the-
everything. I don't want to cut off everything.
I want to cut it all off. And let's everybody everybody say,
No,
will
you
take,
don't.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't want to cut off
You
welfare.
get off, get
I think
rid of
people-
Section 8, get rid of welfare. Now, the help I want to give you is you come and stand in line down at the welfare office and get your commodities in a box and go and you come every 2 weeks so everybody can see you. I wanted you to be, because I want you to have a conscience about, man, can I do better than this? I should be able to do better than this. There's got to be something out there for me to do rather than be in this line.
I don't
If
think
you
that's
don't
going to change
eliminate that-
anybody's mind. But
You
that's
said
what-
shaming doesn't work, though. You said
Oh,
shaming.
yeah.
It doesn't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't-
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, to a
People
degree.
get used to that real quick, and they see
When you
their
get rid of
friends
the
in line.
EBT cards
They
and
be
go back to
looking
the
forward
box.
to going to get in line. They gonna see their friends in line this week. No, that doesn't work.
But when you know that what you're getting is not going to advance you, you're going to be in that same spot again with beans and rice. They just want you to be sustainable. They're not giving you anything to enjoy. They're giving you something to sustain yourself. And when you see these people now with these cards who stand in front of me in line, they got all that meat in there that I can't afford to buy. No.
Yeah. Well, so then you should be on my side.
I'm telling you, eliminate the whole system.
No.
Yes.
You need CalWorks. You need a program by which older students, I'll say, people returning to school, right? CalWorks gives them a lot of assistance. I think it helps with childcare. It helps with school fees, registration books, all that kind of stuff. Those people get a degree or a certificate, and then they go on to a better job,
Okay,
and they
all
get
right.
off welfare.
Let's leave that
you
level.
need
I'm
something
talking
like
about
that.
the first
we
level
can't
of
leave that
folks.
level because that's a
Yeah, we
kind
can
of
leave that-
welfare.
Yeah, but
and
it's the kind that's leading to an end that's sustainable.
Well, right,
This
and I'm saying we need
foundation
more
is
of
not
that.
giving you that. This foundation is giving you, if you don't have any ambition, a comfort level that you will be at come back 5 years later, 10 years later, they're still going to be doing the same thing.
Right.
So you have to eliminate it from the start, even if you have to grandfather it in.
You can't
Give the rest of the
eliminate
folks that
all
are
of
already in, but
welfare.
anybody new coming in, oh, you're not getting that.
How are you going to eliminate all of welfare when there are people who are striving to do better? If you eliminate all of welfare, there's no safety net for those people.
The safety net is the commodity box.
No,
And your
you need
family.
more than a commodity
So
box.
you got a
commodity
family
box doesn't
and you
keep
got a
the
church. You know how many
electricity
people
on.
you're going to be able to push to church now because they know they can get some help over this church, or they can get some help from working together with their family?
No.
You'll see a change in the attitude of people. When they didn't have it, that's what they did.
A commodity box isn't going to do it. When they didn't have it, yeah, well,
That's what they did.
you know, we used to have to ride on the back of the bus. in
We used
Alabama.
to, but now
Things
I'm not taking
change.
care of them
And a
folks
commodity
that don't want
box-
to take care of themselves.
A commodity
Your
box is
family
not
should
gonna
be
keep the
first,
lights on.
and then your church should be your next resource of help.
What about the people whose families are so jacked up? I mean, I
Yes.
think that's why a lot
So
of
then
us
you
are
go
in the
join somebody's
situation we're
church. Go get with somebody that can give you some help. But don't come to the taxpayer saying, "Oh, you're gonna take care of me because I got 8 kids, and you know you don't want to see these kids hungry." No, don't. Go in and get you that box.
in. Yeah, no.
They'll
I
on
just,
that.
you guys know I'm not with that.
Well,
I'm with limited welfare, limited meaning the amount of time that you get it.
And it ain't gonna
and
never
with
change.
specific kinds
if
of
you
welfare.
do it like she's talking about, things will never change. When you give them tough love and say, "Come get this box,"
Things will change
Nah.
because if after 4 years you don't get your welfare anymore.
okay,
things
now
I
we're
just
talking.
said
All
limit
right,
welfare.
okay. That's what you meant by limited? Okay,
Yes.
all right, okay.
Don't- people
that means
shouldn't
you
be on it
do
forever
intend
and
you
ever.
do intend to cut them off. You just you give them a little grace time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well,
Come baby
I
after
could go
baby
with that.
after baby.
I could work with that. I think we can agree that would be an admirable
That's
approach.
what, and actually that is what happened with welfare reform. They did just come up with some kind of arbitrary, if you ask me, but some specific, you know, you can only get it for this long. You can only get this type. Let's just say it's WIC, whatever it is. You can only get this for so many years. You can only get that for so many years. And that is totally appropriate. We're not just going to pay you to lay up and have babies.
So unfortunately, we've run out of time. I just let you
Oh, my
guys banter for about
Just
25
get
minutes.
Why is it always like that? It
Yeah.
goes right to the end.
Yeah, you guys always do that. But
And just to put, next week, I may feel totally different. I'm really irritated right now. I've been sick for a month, and I'm not in a good mood. But that is what I...
You think today, yeah.
That is what I
Well,
think
did it
today.
help today to come in and join with friends and have a
Of
friendly,
course.
sparkle rousing conversation?
You say friendly?
Yeah, wasn't that friendly?
You don't know what I'm going to do to you when we get outside.
it may not be as friendly. I think the last
Say
thing,
something else, Mel. Say something else.
I think the last thing I did want to say that I did learn today, that there's over 4,200 denominations or faiths in the nationwide, in the United States, 4,200. Different denominations.
And what's the fastest growing faith?
That I don't know. But the
I'll tell you,
point was,
Muslim.
is it?
The fastest growing, yes, ma'am,
Okay.
in the
I
world.
think I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's ironic. How long has the conflict been going on between is it the Sunni and the Shiite Muslim? How long do you think that's been going on for?
Forever.
Since the dawn of time. I think since dinosaur days, frankly.
They've been doing it a long time.
It's since the 1600s. So
Yeah.
that should tell you a lot of what we need to work on if we're talking
But
about.
they don't have the resources that we have. They didn't
Yeah.
have that. Ours can be fixed, but we got some sick people in charge.
But
Sick.
well,
You know, it's funny. I know we're over, but like people can so easily come down on these crazy people in LA with the 8 children they kept, chained in the house. And, oh, they're evil. They're terrible. They can easily see that evil, but they can't see Trump. They can't see Ryan. They can't see DeBro with no girlfriend. They can't see Lindsay. They can't see, they don't see how evil the Republicans on a national level. And I'm Alec.
And a state level, not just national, but there's some state
Well-
Republicans that fit in that same mode because they're supportive
Yes.
of that same agenda and the same
True.
personality.
so when we have another show about that, we will talk about that. This was a special edition.
How about that?
Yeah, you guys can keep talking. I'm going to get us off the air. No, I'm just going to make some more coffee. But so again, we'd like to thank Aaron Foster for calling in.
Yeah, I gotta call him. Yeah,
You do have to, you would put on, so we'll make sure we replay this so he remembers to make sure he calls. And we have to do a better job of seeing how we can be involved. Just like that person, the non-black person that told me.
But you see how you outed me though? I was just thinking about that. Mel, you got my number.
Yeah. He's just telling the
It's on
truth.
you.
Just telling the truth. He's just telling the truth. You got to stick with the truth that it is. And so we do thank Pastor G.J. Kreiner, Pastor B.T. Lewis. So everyone else needs to follow in step. And they're not the type to necessarily say, I'm the leader. They're just saying, hey, we're trying to do something about it. So let's not get head tripped about, well, why are they in charge? How about get a head trip about how can I get involved and help what they're doing?
Yeah.
And we come together. That's the head trip I'm hoping our black community will see differently, and each of us stepping up to step in. If you don't know how to step up, step in. Maybe you need to contact one of those pastors. Even if you don't go to that church,
Yeah, they're very receptive.
Yeah,
They're very open.
they're very
But
open.
Remember this.
yeah,
Prayer's all right in prayer meeting, but it ain't too good in bear meeting.
okay.
You better get you something to fight with.
That's
and
right.
that's what we got to do when we come talking about going to this warfare. Be equipped with what's needed to win.
That's right.
So-
That's right. I'm glad you said that, because everybody said, oh, I'll pray for him.
No, we need a
I'll
little
pray
bit
for
more
the
to
situation, but we need some action, folks.
Yeah.
So we do need your
Faith
help.
without works is
Is
dead.
dead.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that
sermon.
means not just African American. This
Yeah.
is a
Yeah,
community.
there's a place for everybody to play. Yeah.
Everybody.
Especially the people that are in power. I'm sorry, we can't even leave. You want to cut
You
us
guys
off?
just won't shut up. I'm trying to get us off the air. I'm like, oh my God,
We'll
what was
probably
it?
get it.
For a little while, so we get to, we're making up the difference.
Yeah.
We already made up the difference. It's 8:10.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
All right, so folks, we can't wait to see you next week, obviously.
Yeah.
And we have so much more to say then. Please make sure you go to some of the Black History Month events that we talked about earlier. Fresno City College, Donna Nolan this weekend at the African American Museum. Also a light reception for the Trailblazers unveiling the plaque. Black History Month celebration February
Call 'em. You
24th.
don't get no seats.
Yeah, because don't go at the door trying to get a ticket
Ain't no
in
ticket at the
Hanford.
door.
So we talked about that with the track and field guide runner, former Lemoore track star, keynote speaker, Mr. Jerome Avery. So we'll talk more about that next week. Otherwise, folks, have a great week. Thank you for watching Valley Black Talk Radio on the Omni Network. That camera, Jill.
See ya.
That